Hey guys, welcome to the 6th Let's Play for Dragon Age Inquisition. We are doing awesome. I'm pretty excited. So, I found some cool things in the inventory though that when I hung up last time with you guys. So like if you go to letters and notes, all my stuff that I read about me are here as well. Because if you look here, this is day 1 and day 3. I'm still missing day 2. Maybe there's not a day 2. Maybe there's not a day 2. So we are to Marmalade Alert level 1. He's sniffing around. Once again, it's still kind of a semi-new setup for where I sit to play, and I think it just freaks him out. And a Jello Alert level 0. He is at work. So let's go over to the tales, because we did see the one about the Iron Maiden, Shield Maiden, that I picked up but didn't have ring. The Singing Maiden. Have you ever heard of the story of King Bedwyr? Bedwyr, like most kings, was a man of great pride, who expected nothing but complete loyalty from his subjects. He believed the best way to achieve this was through fear. After all, those who feared him would never cross him or question his rule. Most importantly, those who feared him would always seek to please him. Bedwyr cultivated terror in his subordinates through the gleeful and unrestrained use of the contraption referred to as the Maiden. The Maiden was a hinged iron casket, as high and wide and deep as a man, with vicious spikes within, meant to pierce through the poor soul locked into it. Bedwyr's Maiden was a prized possession and stood in a place of honor in his throne room, often with a screaming victim inside it. Political rivals, suspected assassins, treasonous ministers, the Maiden consumed them all. But as time passed, more people were given to the Maiden for increasingly trivial offenses. The cook for oversalting the king's food, the page boy for dropping his sword. The Maiden cast a pall over the kingdom, and its people prayed for deliverance from their cruel king. Then one day, a strange woman rode into the city. She called herself Ember, and was an emissary from a far-off land. Her leaders had heard, she said, of Bedwyr's wisdom and authority, and she sought the king's counsel. The thought that he had earned the adulation of brother kings across the sea made Bedwyr swell with pride, and he granted Ember an audience. They dined and danced, and through it all Ember flattered and fawned on the king. At the end of the night, Ember asked to see the Maiden, the infamous device that had given Bedwyr all of his power. The king, giddy with praise, proudly presented Ember with the empty contraption. Ember looked at the Maiden, sighed with disappointment, and said, "That does not look terrifying at all. I should have imagined the spikes to be much sharper." Bedwyr grew red at her comment and replied, "The spikes are sharp enough. Look at the blood that still clings to them." "But it is so small," said Ember. "Are only children and women its victims?" Bedwyr grew redder still and replied, "Of course not. The Maiden has devoured many men." Ember shook her head and said to the king, "I do not believe it. Surely no warrior could fear this thing. A man like yourself, tall and muscled, would not fit within." The king laughed and saw a way to prove the merit of the Maiden Ember. "I will show you how easily a man like myself could fit," he said, and with that he stepped into the device. But Ember was waiting, and no sooner had Bedwyr squeezed himself into the iron casket than Ember slammed it shut on him. Ember took the Maiden with the screaming Bedwyr inside through the castle and down into the city, and the people, finally free from the king's tyranny, cheered and danced to the singing that echoed through the streets, until Bedwyr was dead and it finally stopped. A tale often told in the Singing Maiden Tavern. Whoa, that's pretty harsh. That's like old school Grimm's fairy tale there. Kind of funny, and maybe it is kind of based on an old school Grimm's fairy tale. So now we have to find Cassandra. Hey guys. Oh, I guess I can't push my way through. That's fine. Still kind of a little direct route I have to take. Let's look. We have a couple tents over here. Can I go in these tents at all? Is there something in the tents I can go into and see? Do we got any loot, guys? Do we got any loot? Hello? Magical loot. I am the hero. I need some loot. Or maybe not. What about here? At least I didn't catch myself on fire. Now, wouldn't that have been funny? Does anybody want to talk?
The Chantry wants nothing to do with us. That isn't Chancellor Roderick's decision, sister.
Okay, let's do it. That's right, the throne room. Oh, hey, some loot. I saw something flash up. Let's read it, guys. The Fade. The study of the Fade is as old as humankind, for so long as men have dreamed we have walked its twisting paths, sometimes catching a glimpse of a city at its heart, always as close as our own thoughts, but impossibly separated from our world. The Tevinter Imperium once spent vast fortunes of gold, lyrium, and human slaves in an effort to map the terrain of the Fade, an ultimately futile endeavor. Although portions of it belong to powerful spirits, all of the Fade is in constant flux. The Imperium succeeded in finding disparate and ever-shifting realms of a dozen demon lords, as well as cataloging a few hundred types of spirits, before they were forced to abandon the project. The relationship of dreamers to the Fade is complex. Even when entering the Fade through the use of Lyrium, mortals are not able to control or affect it. The spirits who dwell there, however, can, and as the Chantry teaches us, the great flaw of the spirits is they have neither imagination nor ambition. They create what they see through their sleeping visitors, building elaborate copies of our cities, people, and events, which, like reflections in a mirror, ultimately lack context or life of their own. Even the most powerful demons merely plagiarize the worst thoughts and fears of mortals, and build their realms with no other ambition than to taste life. From Tranquility and the Role of the Fade in Human Culture by the first enchanter, Josephus. Excellent. Learning a little bit more. I'm pretty sure I knew that already because of the first two games, but... Come on. Oh, there's some loot. I knew it. I bet you they look over like, why is the elf taking everything?
She should be taken to Val Royo immediately, to be tried by whomever becomes divine.
I do not believe she is guilty.
The elf failed, Seeker. The breach is still in the sky. For all you know, she intended it this way.
I do not believe that.
That is not for you to decide. Your duty is to serve the Chantry.
My duty is to serve the principles on which the Chantry was founded, Chancellor, as is yours.
All right, Cassandra. Woo! Maybe just think I'm a little good person instead. Is that Cassandra? Ooh. Turn in research. Codex unlocked. Researcher. Enemies drop unique collectibles, bringing the researcher to learn more about your foes and earn combat bonuses against them.
That will help.
I guess you can automatically do it.
Find something.
Okay, so let's read that. The Children of Andraste. There are many misconceptions regarding Andraste's bloodline, Monsieur. This is due, I should think, to a general lack of knowledge regarding Andraste's mortal life. Understandable, considering many cults that arose following her death, everyone sought to claim Our Lady for their own. Culture claimed some aspect of her existence was a lie, all of them complete fabrications. My order has done considerable research to ascertain the truth. We all know Andraste and the Betrayer raised 5 children. The eldest 3 were sons Isereth, Evrion, and Verald. The rule of what was once southern Tevinter was split among them. Isereth was given the west, what is today Orlais. Evrion was given the east, which is today the Free Marches, and Verald was given the central Planez, which is today Navarra. What became of these men and their legacies is the stuff of legend, and a majority of claimants to Andraste's bloodline link back to one of them. None of the 3 sons, however, were born of Andraste. They were born of the Betrayer's concubine, Gillivan. People chose to overlook the fact that Andraste came from the Almari tribesmen and that they were barbarians. Not the Feraldans we know today. They were savage warriors who took concubines in addition to their wives. And because Andraste was thought to be too weak to bear children, the Betrayer took Gullivan to provide him heirs. Which she did. After her death, the sons were raised as Andraste's own. Later in life, Andraste proved predictions wrong and had 2 daughters by the Betrayer, Ibris and Viviel. They were kept out of the public eye and not permitted to marry, though both had consorts. Ibris had but one child, Ali Vamer, who perished on a voyage to Denerim, less than a month after her mother fell to the plague. And without children of her own, the younger daughter, Viviel, was more controversial, a strong-headed woman who divided her family by falling in love with the Major Tevinter, Regulin. Viviel and Regulin went into self-imposed exile as the Exalted March began, and into hiding following Andraste's betrayal and murder. What became of Viviel and her descendants is largely unknown for one primary reason. She had only daughters. Each of those daughters only had daughters. They married into other families and took other names, and in the chaos of the Second Blight, all traces of survivors were lost. Andraste's true bloodline, if it exists, lies solely in the descendants of Viviel, and the suspicion of my order is that it produces only daughters. Thus, the claims of your young man Monsieur are highly suspect. Well, now that is kind of an interesting thing. I think that's definitely interesting. Do we have more stuff to loot, guys? Okay, so we've read everything in here. I've already put the research, and let's talk to Minive.
I believe Seeker Pentagast was looking for you.
Oh, well, I guess we're not going to talk much, are we, Minive?
Seeker Pentagast was looking for you.
Okay, we're going. We're going. Oh, trapped up. The Whisper cannot evidently direct his character. Let's go into the other side entryway. Oh, we got a lot of reading. Oh, I totally forgot that Dragon Age is all about the reading. I mean, that's what it does. You read. Let's read that. The Maker. There was no word for heaven or for earth, for the sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be, dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And for a minute, from it made his firstborn, and he said to them, in my image I forge you to give dominion over all that exists. For by your will may all things be done. Then in the center of the heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending, but their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with a golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, in my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss, so the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, here, I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea, and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, to you, my secondborn, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the fade I crafted you, and from the fade you shall return, each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the golden city, and there he dwelled waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Canticle of Threnodies 5:1, verse 8. Well, that was a mouthful, guys. I bet you that was like a quarter of our time right there just reading that. But it's important stuff. I definitely think it's important to immerse yourself in this. Hey. Anything? Can I climb up there, get those swords? Okay, so let's go in. I guess we're going to have to see them. We don't really have much choice.
Chain her! I want her prepared for travel to the capital for trial.
Disregard that and leave us.
You walk a dangerous line, Seeker.
The breach is stable, but it is still a threat. I will not ignore it.
I did everything I could to close the breach. It almost killed me.
Yet you live. A convenient result insofar as you're concerned.
Have a care, Chancellor. The breach is not the only threat we face.
Someone was behind the explosion at the Conclave. Someone most holy did not expect. Perhaps they died with the others, or have allies who yet live.
I am a suspect?
You, and many others.
But not the prisoner.
I heard the voices in the temple. The Divine called to her for help.
So her survival, that thing on her hand, all a coincidence?
Providence. The Maker sent her to us in our darkest hour.
I'm not a chosen one.
You realize I'm an elf. A Dalish elf.
I have not forgotten. No matter what you are or what you believe, you are exactly what we needed when we needed it.
The breach remains, and your mark is still our only hope of closing it.
This is not for you to decide.
You know what this is, Chancellor. A writ from the Divine, granting us the authority to act. As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn. We will close the breach, we will find those responsible, and we will restore order with or without your approval.
Hence the name of the game.
This is the Divine's directive. Rebuild the Inquisition of old. Find those who will stand against the chaos. We aren't ready. We have no leader, no numbers. And now, no Chantry support.
But we have no choice. We must act now, with you at our side.
Let's investigate this. The Inquisition of old?
What is the Inquisition of old, exactly?
It preceded the Chantry. People who banded together to restore order in a world gone mad.
After, they laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, but the Templars have lost their way. We need those who can do what must be done, united under a single banner once more.
Let's investigate one more time. And if I refuse?
What if I refuse?
You can go if you wish.
You should know that while some believe you chosen, many still think you guilty. The Inquisition can only protect you if you are with us.
We can also help you.
It will not be easy if you stay, but you cannot pretend this has not changed you.
I want to help.
If you're truly trying to restore order...
That is the plan.
Help us fix this before it's too late.
Dum dum dum. Damn, 6 Let's Plays just to get through the prelude. Holy cow, guys. The threat remains. Report the Haven's Chantry. Oh, I got more. Okay, so, guys, I think this is a good place to... I don't like my clothing. I'm going to have to buy new clothing, too. I had cooler clothing before. Yeah, we're gonna have to update everything. I'm also probably going to do a lot of shopping with this character. But I think we're going to call it. That's it for number 6, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care.
Oh! I didn't know you were awake, I swear.
Don't worry about it. I
beg your forgiveness.